Once again with another one. Shout out to everybody that's coming through, you know, and on the restream. Make sure you hit that like. I always gotta say hit the like. For those who hear, you already know, you already sub, you know. Majority of the time I mostly get, people who sub to my channel. It's very rare I get new people to an extent. Um, I don't get that push like that out into the airways. I actually structure my channel a little better to, get that push. But jumping right into it, man. Shout out to Dr. Dunbar and the big discussion 76. Y'all go out there and check him out, man. Great content. He has about 4 channels. The main channel that he always wants to relay his message and keep the focus on is the big discussion 76 science and technology. And to a degree, I agree because it's needed. You know, we need more scientists and tech, mainly scientists, in the tech field, you know. But once again, shout out to Dr. Dunbar, Memphis in the building. What's going on? I just seen you around the corner. Just seen you around the corner, Memphis. But yeah, man, when it comes down to it, the road less traveled, man, it's easy for me to get up, you know, get a job and, just live. You know, the road less traveled is putting in the real work, of, dedicating your time to school, finishing school, then furthering your career post, you know, that's some work. And, I hear Dr. Dunbar talking about going through med school, actually, doing the work. I hear, a lot of, guys on YouTube talking about, furthering their education. And to a degree, having an understanding, it's not for everybody. You know, everybody can't be the guy. I mean, you can to an extent, but some people are just tired of school, you know. Trade schools is another wonderful thing. I was just talking to one of my coworkers. He was stating that his son really don't want to do school no more. And to an extent, he wasn't trying to force him to, you know. When it comes down to it, so he would literally have to force his son to go to, school to get education. And, his thing was he don't want to be wasting money for no reason. And I agree with him, you know. Even with my 2 older kids going to college, I was telling them, you don't gotta go to college. You can get a job, you can go to the military, but you gotta do something, you know. You're not gonna be sitting in the house and being lazy and, you know, I'm not enabling the child to not, get to their full potential or at least grow in some aspect. A lot of these kids don't get pushed or, get directed, so they tend to, take the path of resistance, least travel. And so when it come down to it, you know, we miss out on a lot of things in life, man. It's to an extent we don't have no direction. And that's mainly when I'm talking about the road less traveled. Um, Having a conversation with my wife who's looking at the what was the name of that YouTube? ATL Atlanta street interviews. And so there was a lady from the islands. I want to say Jamaica, but mainly from the islands. What's going on, Frugal Mama? I gotta check out your live from this morning too. But so basically, the young lady she ended up being homeless not because she didn't make the money, it was poor money management. She literally became homeless because she really didn't know how to manage her money. It's like She was doing hair. She would make, $3,000 to $6,000 or something like that within a month's time. But she didn't put money aside to, as the street term, to re-up, to buy her products again. Right? More weave, more supplies for washing hair and stuff like that. And she'll be rubbing two pennies together trying to, get the next client out to make that money to try to go get the next client out and ultimately pay bills and everything on top of that. She was good for making the money. She could do hair, but her biggest thing was she just couldn't manage the money. And, that's to an extent a lot of people fail in that department. That's why I be talking about the road less travel, because when it comes down to it, a lot of people just, like I say, fail in that department. Like, nobody's teaching this, you know. Shout out to Gold P. What's going on with you? Nobody's teaching only but to pay a bill, you know. Saving money, yeah, that's told. Put money aside for a raining day. But I'm talking about real cost efficiency to the point where, you could take a trip to Dubai because you're thoroughly saving money. You're thoroughly not just putting $5 aside. You know how much the trip costs. Within the time frame you want to be on that trip. You know, to a point, you can't just put $25 a week aside. You got to add a little more in there because the deadline compared to how much money you want to save is not going to work. Let's say I need $300 by the end of the month. Putting $25 aside will not gain me 300 by the end of the month if I put 25 aside every week. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. If I do $50 a week set aside, it's not going to happen. You know, some weeks you might make a little more. Some weeks you don't have to pay, a lot out of that bill. Don't just set 25 aside. You can set 125. You might have to set 75. But that end goal needs to be met. And a lot of people fail in that department because, like I said, we know the bare minimum basics. We try to get a lot with a little that we have because no one's taught us how to actually budget money right. No one taught us about credit and interest. You know, First time buying a home, the whole thing was I need to research this. I need to figure about the interest rates. I need to figure if what's the best time to buy. Am I buying in the market to where I can get a return? We were just talking about this yesterday on Real Deal Financial page. Shout out to him when we was talking about the housing market, talking about how it affects people. And my whole thing is buying a house at any given time is the best time, but that's the road less traveled because nobody knows the information. If you literally don't know the key steps in buying a house, the process, how it works, the post after you get the house, the warranty, pre the inspection, your credit, everything lining up. We don't know this stuff. And then this is a big thing to where people get taken for these houses. You're overpaying for the houses because you generally don't know. Instead of asking for help, there's a lot of people that think just because you're 21, you grown. That's not the case. Age doesn't equal growth. Age equals a level of maturity in society. And I always talk about society standards. Society standards will have you screwed up in life because you're on this principle, on this timeline that someone else gave you to tell you that, they're representing you. This what represents you at a certain rate. And it's not true. You know, the crazy part about a lot of this stuff with the level of maturity, man, and a lot of people got to grasp that concept. You know, owning up to it. If you don't know something, go seek the knowledge. Go find someone that has the knowledge. And my key thing, like I said about men growth, same to women in their growth. You need at least about two or three people molding you, guiding you, helping you to be stronger and mentally in life. I've always heard this one guy on YouTube talking about how one of his family members, groomed him because his pop wasn't around. I'm like, cool. So who's the next guy? And the next guy. You're only going to have a narrow minded view of things if you only have one guy that's actually helping you out and training you. When I was in high school, I had about three coaches. Each coach taught me something different from the other. Each coach wanted me go in a different direction from the other. But when I put all three together, I was unstoppable. The whole thing is we're so caught up on this path to try to, live life and experience life. We really don't know what we're doing, you know, because like I said, the person that's guiding you, they're pulling the strings. And until you break off from that and have an understanding that the next man is going to help me a little better, or the next person, maybe the next woman, is going to put something on me that's going to give me some direction, that's what you really need in life. So a lot of people fail in that department because we generally just don't know. Like, who's actually, giving us the information? And is their information accurate? Are they coming from this, facts, or is it feelings? That's the misunderstanding that we gotta, kind of break down with a lot of people. This emotional mindset has a lot of people in trouble because they want to focus on their feelings, you know, and feelings need to be out of the way when it comes to facts, you know, a level of understanding to where we can have grace and, actually gain more knowledge to get a step ahead. That's like the biggest thing that a lot of people got to focus on, man. The knowledge. Like I said, even going to school, that's the road less traveled for most. But the point is putting in the work. If you're not a person that is into school, there's nothing wrong with that. Trades, actually getting a job, but the knowledge should never stop there. You should always seek knowledge. The mind should always be constantly growing. The mind should always be focusing on being better. Growth is a process. You're not going to be the same person you was at 19 that you're going to be at 35, at 42, and so forth. So growth and change is a part of life, but you don't want to hinder yourself by not seeking the knowledge and having an understanding of self. Hence, I always talk about knowledge of self. But basically, when it comes down to it, like I keep saying, man, the process is real. You know, keep training, keep seeking the knowledge. You know, keep trying to get an understanding of life. You know, no one knows the whole secrets of life. To an extent, you got so many books that coach you, teach you, and prepare you for things. But life experience, what I'm saying, actually pushes you more in the course. So, what's going on, NC worker? When it come down to it, man, we gotta literally have an understanding of life, man. You gotta go through the process. You gotta learn. You gotta be dedicated to, staying the course. Reading about housing, the housing market right now. I mean, let alone the scarcity of food. People are buying food like crazy. It's putting inflation to where the food is going up. Shorting the stock, basically of food to where people are hoarding food. People are hoarding the necessities. We got to be to a point to where we can, adapt to this. It's gonna come a time where toilet paper is gone. That never stopped our ancestors from, You know, not having toilet paper, you know, using a rag. I heard of older people was talking about using rags and just squeezing them out, and that's their rag. I was like, that's crazy. You know, there were certain things that wasn't, inhibit to, the community. So we made with what we do, the best of what we can. I mean, how do you think we came out with chitlins? You know, chitlins intestines, pigs intestines. Cooking it up and it's a delicacy now. You have to use the scraps and anything that we was given to eat to survive, you know, and that's what you should be doing for your life right now, learning the process to survive at all costs, That's like the biggest thing, man. Seeking the knowledge. That's why I keep focusing on this. Like I keep saying, the gender war is gonna always be here. To an extent, you can go to anybody other channel and get all this information, man, about statistics and stats about the women this, the men that. But at the end of the day, focus on you. Like this whole process going back and forth, yeah, it might help you emotionally get over this roller coaster, but you're still going to be in the same rut. You're still going to be without money. You still don't know something. So why not seek the knowledge? You know, that's one of the biggest things I've always told people, even with me, my friends knew. Like when I wasn't right, it was to the point where I was more or less to myself. I wasn't trying to, hit no dates up and go out with all these women and stuff like that. I was focused on me, to an extent. If I messed with somebody, cool. If I didn't, oh well. I was steady working. I had a regiment to where I was going out of town anyway for my job. So I was steady in the process of trying to make money, trying to stack money, put money to the side, do certain things. I already had this list that I made in high school, potential goals of me. I crossed everything out on that list by 25 except two things, you know, and that was actually owning my own home and having my cars. I was married to an extent. It was funny because I did have kids. They were my stepkids, but I did have kids. So that was on my list. And to be married and to be a business owner. Those were the three out of the five I hit my list on. And that was me writing this list in high school. Why did I want to get married at 25? You know, I wanted to start my career early, started my family early, so I could potentially do what? Mold my mold my kids into greatness. You know, it's never not, nothing's never too late like the present. Make things right now. I always talk about me dealing with my kids, telling people how I move from one side of town to the other, for my kids to have a better education. I'm about to do that again. You know, I always talk about getting my kids tutoring. Like right now, my sons are mad they got to go to summer school. They passed. One of my sons got straight A's. And he's literally mad because he has to go to summer school. My wife said it's offering, it's free. Let him take it. A lot of kids don't retain stuff in the summertime. You know how mad my kids are because of this. But the point of it is, they're gonna thank me later. But shout out to everybody that came in. You know what I always say, man. About to get ready to go over here to go, Professor. I see he ain't dropped no link. I guess he getting lazy this morning. He over here watching my channel. And he ain't even, setting up his own channel. See, discipline. He ain't even got discipline himself, y'all. But shout out to Gold Professor. I know he's about to get ready to jump live in a few minutes. Probably having technical difficulties. They should have never gave these old guys technology, man. I always get on them about that. Yeah, yeah. Make this go viral. Shout out to you for coming in. Yep. And y'all check out our channel too. Like I'm gonna start doing this just like everybody else. Dropping your links when you come in. If you got a wrench, drop a link. I'ma always say that in the middle of my broadcast, the beginning of my broadcast, because my thing is, man, it's more of a family affair, man. I try to share as many channels as I can. Each morning, each afternoon. I'm still gonna keep supporting people channels, man. You know, because I want to see people grow to, 10,000. I want to see people grow to 100. You know, I really would like some people to, actually quit their jobs and do this as a full time thing. Me, on one hand, I don't think I can do it. You know, it'll be something fun to do, just to get paid, to have fun, to talk, and deal with people. But my thing is, man, I just want to get the knowledge for a lot of people to process things, you know, make things better for themselves, man. You know, Frugal Mama, drop your channel too. Like I said, when it comes down to it, the biggest thing is for us to work together, to do the right thing. You know, we got to have a certain standard to life. A lot of people, you know, we're so focused on trying to make it like the next man. Why not make it like yourself? You know, you set the standard of the bar to be better for you and live your life. We live our lives through celebrities so much, but those are the examples that we see every day in front of us. You know, well, be the celebrity in your own life. That's one of my biggest things that I'm trying to get people to understand. Be the celebrity in your own life. You know, do things right for yourself. And that's the number one thing that a lot of people need to stay focused on, man. That's literally the craziest part. I understand, like, for instance, Gucci Man. And I talked about this yesterday, how his wife took that money and made them multimillionaires. He would have got it regardless if she wasn't around. But just like with Steve Harvey, I keep saying, you know, with that wife, she gives you that extra push. She goes that extra mile. A woman working with a man to obtain a goal is such a wonderful thing. You know, Steve would have still got to where he's at, but it would took him a longer road, a longer process to do it. His wife went out there and knocked on a couple of doors and put him out there as a reference and a name to be pushed. Same thing with Gucci Man. This guy still in jail, you know, coming home to all this and, doing well for himself. And I always say that, I mean, that's just a wonderful feeling, man. You know, I, I praise my wife all the time about that. She a good woman. You know, she does a lot for me, does a lot for the kids. No, I can't complain. Honestly speaking, you know, like I say with the this whole gender war thing and the manosphere and all, marriage ain't for everybody, and I get that. But for the ones that want to get married, don't deter them. Just give them the information. Just be straightforward. Tell them the truth. It's not an easy process in picking a wife, just like it's not an easy process in picking a husband. Men and women have flaws. You know, there's some people that are gonna get divorced because they're gonna lead with their heart, and the other is just there for resources, whether it be a man or a woman. Like I said, it's a balance on both sides. We have our flaws, but to the point, you know, knowing the rights and wrong can help the situation. And to the degree, man, I'm just gonna say this, you know, when it come down to people doing the work, you gotta do the work. You know what I'm saying? That's the road less traveled most of all. A lot of people not willing to put in the work, sacrifice the time to make themselves better. So with that being said, shout out to everybody in the building. Like always, you know what I say? We here, we gone. I'll holler at you.